I went to Harbour Freight and bought this. It's a piston ring compressor. I don't know if that's going to be good enough for what we want to do, but let's try it. I've not used one of these particular things before, but looks fairly straightforward, right? You put the key in there, tighten up. There's a quick release doohickey. I don't know how that exactly works. Oh yeah, I see. It's on the spring, right? On the doodly pips. There you go. So that breaks it out and then it stops, right? So let's try this on our piston. I'll turn you guys around. And maybe I need to put my headlight on again. It's looking a bit dim in here. Right, there's my block. Let's put the headlight on again so you all can see. I need to buy one of these new ones where I don't think it matters if you have your hat on. Okay, do we want to put our gloves on again? Yes, I think I'm going to put my nitrile gloves on because we still got a bit oily yesterday, even though we were wearing our gloves part of it. Right. I tend to get these XL 9mm nitrile gloves rather than the flimsy blue ones. Again, Harbour Freight. Because why not? They certainly last longer than the blue ones. It's nice to be in t-shirt weather. It's 60 degrees today. I don't think it'll be 60 degrees tomorrow, but today it's nice here in New Jersey. So, and you know, I did think about fixing my homemade one via large hose clamps, right? It would have been the same overall effect, but my hose clamps weren't quite big enough. Right, so we're going to put this on here, like that, and then we're going to tighten it up, right? And when we tighten it up, it will compress those springs, the piston rings. It's supposed to go down to 2 1/8. This is 55mm, so what's that? 2 is 50, and a quarter is 6mm, an 1/8 is 3mm, 53. This is supposed to go down to, so it should get small enough, I think. Doesn't appear to be small enough, I can tell you that. And I need to, anyway, get down to, don't I? How do I do that? Release it. Not that easy, huh? I need to get the piston down to the end like this, right? So that when I offer that up to the bore, it'll just go right in. Slide right in. But right now, that ain't doing it. See, the rings are not compressed yet. And I think I'm tightening it just about as far as it'll tighten. So maybe this one won't be any good for these tiny little pistons, right? It's made for pistons up to 4 inches in diameter. Maybe no good for something as small as this. There we go. Still didn't compress that last spring. There. I think I'm on the limit, that's my problem. Can I tighten it anymore? There's a top and a bottom. You see what I've done here? I've put this on the bottom. I think it should be on the top. It tighten more, right? It's not tightening enough to compress that spring. Let's do it again. So you tighten clockwise, it takes the pressure off that wee ratchet, and then you release. Right? So let's turn it around. I'm learning as I go along here. Let's open the some more. Oops. Right, and now the double bands are at the top, right? That's interesting, because that means that you have to tighten from that end. I don't think it matters that much, but certainly the bands need to be at the top, I think. Let's see how this works. So put it on the bench maybe. That's the way to do it. Still didn't compress the springs, if you can see that. The springs are not compressed, not enough. Anyway. It looks as if I can still keep on compressing. I don't see anything that would stop me. Except I can't get a grip on it. 2 clicks. Still not compressing the springs. Wow. Yes, it's just too, my piston's just too small. It is a tiny little piston, right? It's moving freely in there, so I can't really grip. Oh wow, I cannot tighten that anymore. Why not? It's connected to that one, and it's pulling on the band. That ain't going to do the job. It just ain't going to do the job. It's doubled right round in itself, the metal of the spring compressor, the ring compressor. So maybe it just cannot do anymore. How does it actually work? So those bands are connected onto this ratchet, right? And when I tighten it, compresses that band, and it's got a limit to how far it can compress. And that limit ain't going to get us in here, right? Yeah. One more click. If I can get one more click on it, I'm going to break it. I'll take my finger off. That's the problem, right? I got another click. Did you hear it? No. It's just to what can I do to, let's have a look at the way it's designed and we'll see if we can do something else. Spring steel obviously, right? And how does it work? As we are, it's scooting around and around. So if I make that smaller, cut it down, is that going to make a difference? So it's compressing that band, right? As it compresses the band, those sheet metal pieces slide inside each other. So what's the limiting factor? The limiting factor is going to be the steel bands in it. It's not going to be these things, it doesn't matter how big or small those are, I don't think. Maybe it would, because look, it's pushing it off pure circle there. And now that's smaller than this. That would definitely compress it enough. Right, so it's not the bands themselves that are stopping us. I can make it smaller even. It is this. So if we cut that down a bit, can do that without ruining it. Or should I just try and compress it the way it's designed? Figure. It does need a lot of force to compress those. I don't think it needs a lot of force. Ooh, I think that did it, see? The rings are compressed. Right, so I believe you get a wooden mallet and you go dink dink dink. You go dink dink dink. Once you're pretty sure you're in there, right? Get in. Oh, I can't get it up anymore. Ouch. Ouchie, ouchie. It's getting difficult to turn, so is it going in or not? Tempted to look. Let's try and release it and we'll have a look. If the first ring's in, then maybe. I can call it a bit of a success. Oh look, they're almost all in. Wow, good. They are all in. Awesome. Not the bottom one, not the bottom one, the bottom one. The bottom one has to go in still, right? So let's get them in. See, I hope you can see that. I'll bring you in closer. Can you see? That's us getting to the gudgeon pin here, right? So if you remember, right, gudgeon pin, it means we've got those first three rings in. We've got the bottom ring still to get in. So I'll need to tighten that again once we get past here. Wow, this is remarkably difficult to do. I didn't think it would be, honestly. Let's put some of this wonderful stuff in. Oh, here's that ring now. Look, oopsie doodles. So bring it back up. A wee touch. Not much. And let's tighten this back up again. Yes. think it's in. I think it's in. How do I get this off now? I should be able to just, right, do that. No, other way. There we go. And then let that expand. Awesome. It went in. The STP didn't do what I thought it was going to do and make things easy on that bore. Maybe I need more, but now you don't want to push it down too far. Push out the other end and then have the same problem. Okay, first one's in. I need to orient front and back. I realise that because I messed that up. That was a lot more difficult than I thought. But we're definitely gonna put a lot of STP in the next bore for sure, because that was tough to get to work. Number 2. Oh, there's one coming out. Wow, what is going on with these little things? The paper stuck in it. Okay, we don't need the paper stuck in there. This makes things even more difficult. Let's slide this down a bit. Let's put you out here a wee again. So I'm not bumping into you. You can still see what's going on to a certain extent. Okay. And now, this seems to be a lot cleaner inside. It seems to be a lot cleaner inside than the other one. Let's look at the rings, the grooves themselves. The holes in the bottom are good. Holes in the top seem to be good. There is some carbon in the grooves, right? Not as much, not anywhere near as bad as the last one. Right, that was difficult to get out of my gob. I'm just doing this enough to get the carbon off of it. This is much better shape than the other one, and it's not taking quite as much effort to get the carbon off of it. I'll need to Google and see if someone has found out a rationale for carbon getting in the ring grooves. I mean, I've only ever done this once before, I think. It was for the Austin 7. And maybe I wouldn't have noticed back then. Maybe I wouldn't have. You know, possible there was carbon in the groove then as well, but I just didn't notice. It's possible. Yeah, I've seen this. All the wee holes seem to be free. Let's just check that. No sooner said than found to be not true. What happened to that other teeny tiny one that we had? We had a little teeny one. I know this one fits. So. Yeah, that's just full of carbon. I was thinking something else, but can see the carbon digging out of it. There we go. Wow. I would never have thought that you need to unblock these holes, but I guess that you need to. I mean, they're there for a reason, right? So without exception, some of them have been blocked. Right, so not 100% guaranteed that you're going to get what you expect. And I'm just going to squirt. Right. Okay. We got all that carbon? Not quite. Not quite yet. Still a little drop in there. I mean, it's inconsequential the amount that's in there now, I think. Did we notice these in the last one? These little tiny holes? Huh. Now, using the same criteria, this is moving quite well, but that gudgeon pin joint is very dry looking. So, same as we did the last time, put some STP in here. Rightly or wrongly, that's what I'm doing. Okay, good. And let's look at this little joint now. Remember the two little holes in here? What happened to that little tiny screwdriver we had? Oh, that one. That's interesting. That little nut doesn't want to come off. I think I held on to the wrenches that worked in the other Austin. 9/16 US wrench. Fits that. Not perfectly, but it fits it. Right, now so let's look at our marks here. We have a notch on that one. I think this is on backwards, actually, because there is a notch, but it's on opposite. It doesn't want to cooperate. Yeah, it's been off before, obviously. Oh, dearie meaty. You don't want to do anything to that surface, right? So you got to be careful. Careful. You got to be. We have their plastic mallet. We do have their plastic mallet. So let's just put those bolts back on again for a sec. Let's give it a scoosh. Big believer in the scooshing of the doohickeys. Need to go nuts.
I canceled dinner. I don't want to go anywhere.
Okay. Pretty sure those nuts and bolts are supposed to move. And ain't. Oh, no, it's loose though. That's all I wanted, was for that to be loose. Okay. Now, so we have a notch. Had a notch. Good grief. Yes, there is. There's a notch and a notch on this side. So it goes on that way and goes on and off easier that way. Right, so let's have a wee look at these holes. Well, let's see the little teeny tiny one I had. What happened to it? There it is. So we know this fits through. One blocked, see. Unblocked. Okay. Interesting, it's a little bit of an angle. And then let's go right in here and hopefully you can see the seam of the white metal. I did look at one where the guy was doing the white metaling himself. He had a little access to a forge and yeah, right on there. You can see it. Let me get my cloth. You can see the seam of the white metal. I'm trying to shine my light right on it. The seam of the white metal, I mean it's darker coloured, right? But you can see it right there. So we have quite good white metaling. What he had just done as a new one didn't look any more than that. But I'm saying it's pretty good. Let's give it a wipe. See what it actually looks like. I'm trying to get it to glint on the light, right? So you guys can see it's not in bad shape. It's got a couple of little light scores on it. But, you know, I don't think it's too bad. I really don't. Let's have a look at this side of it. Yeah, this is more obvious scoring, which I hope you can see. Maybe there's no white metal on that part. Yeah, this did not wear evenly. This might give us a problem. There's a white metal on this. Ooh, it's ultra thin. Wow. Yeah, this might give us a problem, guys. If you look at that surface, it's super thin, right? And that kind of white marking there, don't know if you can see the speckledness. It leads me to believe that white metal is worn off. Wow. Okay, so I'm still going to go ahead with this because I don't actually know how much it's going to cost to remetal these. Might be scary, you know. Where was that notch? I can see the notch on the cap. I can't see the notch on the rod. There it is. So just a little notch. Someone very cleverly put a notch on each of these so you can keep them paired up, right? I'm just going to put some STP all around that. Kind of love it. But that's me just about used up the stuff that was in that top there. I hope I'm not mumbling too much. I hope you can hear me okay. Okay, So now let's do the same here. Put a little bit of SDP back in the top here. That was only a little light coating, and I'll tell you, I suffered, you saw me, how hard it was to get that in here. I'm going to put a lot more in this bore than I did the other one. As I said, I think this is super slippery, so in my humble opinion, it should help this whole process. Maybe it won't. And maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Put this over here again. Put that one there. So, next set of rings. So we did that one already. And put that over there. Next one. They're very well packaged. And I'm not terribly surprised, as I said, because they are quite fragile. So, put a thin one on the first one, and then we just moved it down to the second groove, right? That's the way we did it last time. Let's just do it the same way this time, sorry. I do need some breathing room here, guys, I'm sorry if it's too far away. So here's our nice little package, ring number 1. And we're looking for the thing that says top. I don't know if you can read that or not, but it says top on it. And we're going to put that in the first groove, and then we're going to move it down into the second groove. I wonder if we could just move it down into the second groove. No, it went into the first groove, and now we'll try and move it down into the second groove. It's in the first groove, right? So now I'm going to move it down if I can. It moved fairly easily the last piston. You know what I mean? There we go. So that's it in the second groove. Catch me? Right, that's it in the second groove. So let's get the next skinny one. What did they say the sizes were? 1/16, 1/16 and 5/32. So this is the other 16th ring. Right, and I checked what it said on the top again. There might be a machine to do this. Maybe bigger piston rings, you would need the machine. These little tiny biggers seem to be fairly simple. Not that I know the first thing about them. But anyway, that's the first 2 rings on. If you can see that, the first 2 rings are on, right? Why is it so dark here? Is it just me? Right, let's put some more lights on. Your overall lighting might help. These lights on to the block, and remember we used the JB weld before. This is the day after. Let's see what happened. Not bad. I mean, it needs to be filed down or ground down to give me a good flat surface for the gasket, but it does seem to have repaired it, right? So That's good. That's not going to come off anytime soon. So I'll get a grinder, maybe just a hand file, huh? And just file that flat there so we can get a gasket on it. But consider it's not a high pressure oil engine, it should be fine, I think. Okay, so repair bin there. I'm going to come back to the piston rings tomorrow. Who knows if that helps or not. Right, so first two rings on. Next two is the big fat ones. I'm going to put them on from underneath. So let's just check what it says about the top there. I feel as if you're too far away. Right, what does it say about top here? It says top here. Right there, top. Top. I'm going to put it from underneath this time. And then should I just go all the way up to the top this time? Put them on there. No, I've got two rings to go over there. So let's just try and put it in from the bottom and try and skip over that first groove, right? And it means the second one will be so much easier. See if I can scoop over that first groove. Nope. Just click straight into that first groove. Okay, well, we'll leave it there. That is a tight fit, man. That is not. That ain't moving. See, these ones are sliding. This is tight, tight, tight. Why so tight? I wonder. Wow. Anyway, second big fat one. Look for the top. That's the top. Slide it on. Up over this ring that's on already. If I can. If I can. Over that bottom big ring. Maybe that is the way of doing it, huh? These are much tighter on this piston than the other one. I'm potentially scratching the piston, right? You see that? That one's moving. This bottom one's not moving. Does that matter? It seems they should be all the same, doesn't it? Right, this is empty now. Yeah, that ring does not want to move. It's as if it's jammed in there. I wonder why. Is that groove damaged in some way? It's moving. It doesn't want to move. Huh. Interesting, isn't it? I think it should be freer than that. I don't want to force nothing. There we go. Maybe just a bit dirty. Makes me feel a bit better. I wonder if there's just a bit of grit in there or something. Yeah, I can see dirt coming out from where sprayed in some of the release oil, the blaster sort of stuff. That's more like what I expected it to be. There must have been a bit of dirt in there. I mean, there was dirt in there, I can see it in it. Okay, so we're going to try this again. It's almost like with a sense of dread. I know I shouldn't have that, but I kind of do. Okay, so let's grease this up as well. Why ever not? Okie dokie. We know we've got to be very aggressive with this, right? Still moving about freely, so that's nowhere near tight enough yet. Let's have a look. No, nowhere close to being compressed. It's close, I shouldn't say that. It's close. But another couple of clicks, I would say. How's that? How's that? This is filthy already. How can it be filthy? Still not enough, guys. Still not enough. That might be enough. Is there a way of telling if it's gone down? So why? Not quite enough yet. Could that be true? Another click. Another click. I mean, we know the machine's capable of it. What about if I used a longer lever? A bit of tube on that, you know? Because that's sore in the hand. I can tell you that for nothing. I can tell you that for nothing. Get this off of here. I know they're box spanners, they're not tubes, but I've used them effectively as tubes before. I don't think that did it. That's tight, my friends. Still a little bit showing of the ring, not completely compressed there. Seems remarkable to me. I mean, this is a hell of a pressure I'm putting on this now. Yeah, I've got another click. There's got to be enough now, right? Okay. sound as if I broke a ring there, guys. Wow. Okay. Let's continue on. Oh, went a bit drastic there. Felt as if something broke. Doesn't feel that way when I'm pushing it down, and there's no way I'm going unless I take it back off again. I don't want to do that. Let's say nothing broke. Let's say that. That was a massive click there. Should I be doing it from the other way? No, you can't do it from the other way because these don't fit through the bore. You can only do it from this way. I don't want them to fall through, but I think with the rings, there's no way they are going to be moving anywhere. Just a wee bit kind of in it, you know what I mean? Just a wee bit stressful, man. Okay, I'm going to give it a break just now.